I went out with my buddy Brad today, and we did a little bit of hiking around. Stopped at a good site where I've spent some time before, and we cooked up a nice little meal. Something very simple, actually, just some scrambled eggs and sausages. But it takes a lot to get out there. Trying to find time to split away from the family and really get some time with your buddies out in the woods. It's not always easy, so we do what we can. There's a number of pieces of gear that I use today that I'm glad to have the time with them. I like to practice as much as I can and really put in the time when I have the ability to do so. So, I tried to bring just what I needed. I brought a couple of things that were over and above what I needed, but for the most part, I just brought a real basic kit. I'd like to look at the pieces that I used, at least in terms of the tools, and what condition they're in after a little bit of hard use today. It's something that not a lot of the guys on YouTube talk about, but trying to set up and shoot while you have other objectives like making a fire, or while you're gathering all the wood and getting all that together, and how much time and effort it takes to split it down and prepare everything for the fire. Shooting is not the priority, even though in this particular business or on YouTube, that's the primary objective, is to get the get the image out and show people the story. But as somebody who's literally brand new to this and just getting started, it takes a lot to get the camera out and to actually set it up. And so there's obviously a lot of footage that I don't have. There's a lot of things that you'd probably want to see how it went down and how I use the tools, but it's just at this point, with one or two guys and a limited, obviously a limited crew, limited time. The time of year is difficult. Not a lot of sunlight. Taking advantage of what we can when we can. It's very difficult to get the shot. So some of the stuff I have is some details and some supplementary footage, but there's not a lot of primary footage to begin with. So anyway. This is what it is. It's a start, way for me to get things going, get used to the equipment, get used to sitting in front of the camera talking. That's another thing that a lot of the guys don't talk about is, what it's like to set up a channel and to sit here and talk to a camera. I mean, I'd like to be fully set up in a room that's more appropriate to deal with this, with better lighting and a better microphone, but I'm doing the best I can just to get things started right now with the camera that I have in my basement. As things develop, hopefully I'll get a little more dialed in, but this is what it is for now. So what did I use today? I used my speaker. Definitely needed the tunes. Used my silky saw. Thing's actually pretty sweet. It's getting beat. Bent the tip. But it's been through the paces. I used my pots. Already cleaned them up, put them away. Yeah, definitely the Glock shovel. That is a must for a local short hike duration trip. I wouldn't take that to the top of the mountain, but it's definitely sweet. Yeah, Tomahawk. That I would actually contemplate bringing with me, but it's getting a little on the heavy side there.
You want to comment on this versus the hammer?
Oh yeah, the pick, the actual pick end is absolutely the way to go, especially in the outdoor application. Is just sweet. Totally tear dead trees and logs apart. Very nice. And Spyderco. This is the Forager. Use that for most of the splitting today. It worked like a dream. Check the edge when I get home, but I think it's probably still mint. I didn't go through anything really terribly tough. That's a Jerry Hossom design, Spyderco. It's beautiful. I love this thing. It's my new go-to, I think. And then for all the little tasks, LT Wright Jesmic JX2, designed by Chris Tanner of Prepared Mind 101. He said this thing was going to be an excellent woods knife, and it was spectacular.
Does not fail.
It was great. I didn't do any splitting with it, but I did all my fine tasks and actually used it as the handle to pick up my pot and take it out of the fire, and this thing was great. Real fine detail work, and just did some feather sticks and carved us a couple of spoons, but yeah, that thing was great. So that's pretty much what I used today, other than, you know, my pack. Bring a little drop sheet to keep everything organized, and a couple canteens, and a mighty nice day. So when I get out to the woods, I usually like to bring somewhat of a system. I'm still developing it. I'm, you know, gaining an understanding of what works and what doesn't work, and what I need, what I don't need. I usually overpack. That's one of my biggest problems. So I'm trying to learn how to sort of slim things back and just get it down to the basics. And so what I found has worked best for me is a large blade, small blade combo, some sort of a saw, and when I'm not going too far or when I think it's worth it, to bring an axe of some sort. I've been really enjoying the Tomahawk. I'm going to talk about these in some detail, just to show the condition that these are after a full day's work. You know, I put a couple hours of work in on these blades today, and you know, on the saw and on the axe, and just wanted to really show how they held up and, you know, what kind of tasks I performed using these. First is the Tomahawk. This is my cold steel Spike Hawk. I've had this for quite some time now, probably just about a year, and I've used it quite regularly. Awesome piece of equipment. I really love this. I mean, in the woods, the spike is just excellent. I've dinged it up a little bit here and there. You know, I seem to have lost a little edge on the point there, but I'll bring that back, put it to a grinder or a belt sander, and I'll try to bring that back a little bit, but it doesn't seem to affect it. I use this a lot for, you know, if you find like a semi-dead tree or a dead tree and you want to tear it apart, you know, utilize that wood. It's good and dry, it's off the ground, you can really tear it apart well. And obviously the actual axe head is nice, you know, for cutting, chopping, any sort of splitting of the wood. I actually find that I don't split too much with this. I've seen guys that do it pretty effectively. You know, I watched a lot of Joe Robinette early on, and I still follow him quite closely today. He used to use a Tomahawk quite a bit. It seems like he's kind of stepping away from that a little bit, but I used to watch him with the Tomahawk. He definitely had the skills, and that's kind of where I got the idea. So I picked this up about a year ago, and I've really liked it. It's been an excellent piece of equipment for me. You know, I stripped the blade, gave it a little patina, reprofiled the edge just to bring it back. This didn't come ridiculously sharp, but believe me, you can get it ridiculously sharp. You know, I stained the handle just to dull it out a little bit, and added some tape. And man, this is nice. I like this quite a bit. I highly recommend this piece of equipment. So when I first got started collecting knives and you know, using them for camp chores, I kind of fell quickly into the you know, carbon steel crowd. You know, got a lot of carbon steel blades, some larger blades, SEs, Ontarios, but I also wanted to get into stainless blades, and I came across a video by Nut and Fancy one day talking about the awesome Hossoms, and this is a Jerry Hossom blade. He designed, actually it's a Spyderco, but he designed it for, Jerry Hossom designed it for Spyderco, and this thing is just magnificent. Very ergonomic, feels great in the hand, has an excellent balance, has the, let's see if I can get that to focus there. No, not gonna go. It's the N690 CO steel. Nice stainless blade. The balance is excellent. This is the there's 4 of these. This is the Forager model. Use this primarily for all of my splitting. Seems to have done an excellent job. Went through everything without any problem. The edge is almost perfect. I mean, for how much splitting I did here, I mean, really, really good. Having a little bit of focus issue. I'll learn. Get it better as time goes on. There you go. This is the LT Wright Jesmic. I use this for making some feather sticks, and I used it to basically do some of the smaller chores. Held up really nice, but I do see right on that edge there, it's hard to see it, if I can get that in focus, a little bit of chipping, which I'm not too thrilled about. I really did not beat on this. I didn't do anything really significantly strenuous, but just a little bit of chipping there. But I do have to say that in terms of the overall appeal, man, this thing is nice. Very, very, very comfortable. Feels great in the hand. Does a real nice job at slicing. You could work with it all day. Great spine. Used it to spark the ferro rod and no problem. Started my fire and 3 little balls of sparks. Took care of it, got it going. That was great. So you might have noticed the audio changed. I actually, right in the middle of putting this video together, had a microphone setup show up, so giving it a try here. See what happens. So started working on this little ding. I guess before I said it was a chip. It's probably considered a roll. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm making it up. But all I know is that the edge, there she is, right there. Check that out. See if I can get that back in focus. Try that again. I don't know. Right there. I don't know. It's kind of a chip, I think. But I'm going to give it some work here. See if I can just get that out with a leather strop, or at least, I mean, I like to sort of work backwards from the least aggressive method to the most aggressive, depending on what something needs. So I will try to get that out with a strop, and if that doesn't work, I will go to a fine ceramic rod, and then if that doesn't work, I'll go back to a medium, and so on and so forth. But I think, just by looking at it, either the strop, or at worst case scenario, the fine ceramic rod will get that out. The rest of the blade seems to be pretty good. For the most part, let's see here. Sorry. I think the camera makes that look worse than it is. That's actually all fine. It's just some dust. I always put a coat of Froglube. It's a food grade grease. I always coat my blades, even my stainless. I mean, I know I don't have to for the stainless, but it just helps to just repel moisture, you know. Maybe it's overkill on the stainless, but certainly on the carbon steel, it is a must. Stuff is great. I really like it. So let me put a little work in here and see what I can do. Hopefully I can tune this thing up and put her away and like new condition, you know. Okay, so I kind of tuned up this Jesmic here, trying to get rid of that little chip. And my preferred method is to use the 1" by 30" Harbor Freight sander with a Surge Sharp leather belt. You can use either side of the belt, but for myself, come over this side so you maybe can see. That's the rough side and this is the smooth side. So like I said, I try to go as least aggressive as I can and work my way backwards. And so using that belt, this is what I've got. So this is the side we were looking at before, and I'll get right in there. See if I can get this thing to focus. It's not perfect. Still a tiny little roll there. But, man. I mean, now look at that edge. That edge is gleaming. And the major damage is gone. I mean, like I said, there's a little bit. But, I mean, I think I'd just leave that alone. Hell, I mean, man, it's a knife. You go slamming it through pieces of wood. See, even the way the light catches this edge, right there, that almost looks wavy to me. But this is a Scandi grind, man. I mean, it is just so subtle. Tiny little bit of rolling on that. But that edge is just so fine. I mean, this thing is ridiculously scary sharp. So, you know, as long as I stay on top of it, I can get that back to perfect. Yeah, see right there. Look at that. Tiny little bit. I mean, I am being so picky. But I know I can get that back to perfect. Right there. Look at the way the light catches that tiny little chip. It's microscopic, really. But I mean, you can feel it. You can feel it with your fingers. You can see it with your eyes. All things considered, after a full day of use. And this was my first time taking this blade out today. It was my very first time. I've had it for a while. But like I said, I don't get the opportunity to get out there all that often. And so today was the first day I was really able to put it through the paces. And it performed beautifully. You know, a little bit of touch up here to get her back, but I would say that that's reasonably acceptable. I mean, it's a knife in the woods in the winter, you know. So anyway, that is that. Thank you. Goodbye.